She thought it was just leftover rice, a harmless bowl from last night's dinner, quickly warmed in the microwave before her afternoon walk. But by evening, her heart was racing, her blood pressure had crashed, and 72-year-old Margaret was in the emergency room, diagnosed with severe dehydration and cardiac stress triggered by foodborne toxins. This wasn't some rare food allergy. It wasn't a bad batch of takeout. It was reheated rice. Most people never think twice about leftovers, especially the foods we're told are healthy. Spinach, chicken, potatoes, mushrooms, even seafood. But after age 60, your body plays by different rules. The digestive system slows down. Your immune defenses are weaker. And those safe foods can turn into stroke triggers if they're reheated the wrong way. You see, some bacteria don't die in the microwave. Some toxins survive boiling water. And for aging hearts and blood vessels, even a mild infection can turn deadly fast. So in this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 popular foods that transform into cardiovascular threats the moment you reheat them. If you're over 60 or love someone who is, this could be the most important health warning you hear all year. By the end, you'll know exactly which leftovers to avoid and why your microwave could be sabotaging your heart. Fresh may feel wasteful, but in this case, fresh could mean the difference between a regular Tuesday and a 911 call. So what exactly changes after 60 that makes something like reheated rice or spinach a risk? It's not just the food, it's your body. Your immune system isn't what it used to be. The army of white blood cells that once fought off bacteria without breaking a sweat now takes longer to respond. And your stomach? It produces less acid, one of your first lines of defense against harmful microbes. Your kidneys and liver also slow down, which means toxins linger longer in your system. And your blood vessels? They've likely stiffened over time, making it harder for your heart to push blood through smoothly, especially under stress. Now imagine all of that working against you at once. Your digestion is slower. Your ability to detox is weaker. Your heart is already working overtime. Then in comes a plate of food, rewarmed, reheated, and unknowingly loaded with bacteria or heat-stable toxins. Suddenly, your body's juggling inflammation, dehydration, and blood pressure changes all at once. That's how a simple leftover becomes a ticking time bomb. And here's what's worse. The foods you're about to see are the ones most people assume are heart healthy. But after 60, what fuels your health fresh could fuel a stroke when it's reheated. So let's break them down, one by one, starting with the most surprising of all, rice. Rice sits quietly in nearly every kitchen. It's comforting, familiar, and often labeled as the safe starch. But after age 60, the way you handle rice could spell disaster. Here's the catch. Rice naturally harbors a bacteria called Bacillus cereus. When rice is cooked, the heat kills most of it, but not the spores. These spores lie dormant, waiting. If that rice cools slowly, say it sits on the stove or countertop for a while, the spores begin to wake up. They multiply fast, especially between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And worse, they produce a toxin that survives reheating. Even boiling hot won't destroy it. So by the time you pop that bowl into the microwave, thinking it's safe, you might be swallowing a dose of emetic toxin, one that causes vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, and for seniors, potentially heart rhythm issues and blood pressure crashes. A 2021 review from MDPI confirms this. B. cereus affects thousands annually, and seniors are the most vulnerable. Why? Because the vomiting and fluid loss strains the heart, already working harder due to age. Your risk of clotting, arrhythmia, or stroke increases with every bout of inflammation. But there's a safer way. Instead of leaving rice out to cool naturally, spread it in a thin layer and refrigerate it within 1 hour. Or better yet, freeze it. And if you do reheat it, make sure it's piping hot all the way through, at least 165-degree Celsius, and only reheat once, because reheated rice isn't always innocent. Sometimes it's silently working against your heart. Spinach is the poster child for health, packed with iron, folate, and antioxidants. It's the leafy green your doctor always recommends. But when it's cooked, stored, and then reheated, it can turn against you. Here's why. Spinach is naturally rich in nitrates. In their raw form, these nitrates support blood flow and lower blood pressure. But when spinach is heated, cooled slowly, and then reheated, bacteria start converting those nitrates into nitrites. And from there, into nitrosamines, compounds linked to cancer and cardiovascular stress. One study from the European Food Information Council explains how the nitrate conversion process ramps up during repeated heating. In fact, stir-frying increases nitrate concentration by 31%. That's not just a number. It's a chemical shift with real consequences. For seniors, the concern is even greater. Nitrites interfere with your red blood cells' ability to carry oxygen. They transform hemoglobin into methemoglobin, a version that can't deliver oxygen properly. Your heart then has to work harder to push what little oxygen it can, triggering fatigue, shortness of breath, and even irregular rhythms. That's a lot of pressure for a body already managing age-related decline. So what's the solution? If you cook spinach, eat it fresh. If you must store it, cool it quickly and eat it cold within 12 hours. Never reheat it again, especially in dishes like soups or casseroles. It may seem wasteful to toss leftover greens, but for your heart, it's the better choice. Because reheated spinach may look healthy, but underneath, it's building compounds your body no longer handles well. Mushrooms have a reputation for being low-calorie, high-fiber, and full of antioxidants. But when it comes to reheating, they present a unique and often overlooked danger, especially for older adults. Unlike most vegetables, mushrooms are rich in protein, but their protein structure is unstable. Once cooked and left at room temperature, even for a short while, their amino acids begin to degrade, and that's where the real problem begins. As proteins break down, they create compounds that feed harmful bacteria. Bacteria multiply quickly, especially between 40°C and 140°C. If the cooked mushrooms weren't cooled properly, or if you reheat them after they have already started to spoil, you could be ingesting bacterial toxins your body isn't prepared to fight. The issue, these changes happen silently. Mushrooms may smell fine, they may look fine, but inside the proteins have shifted and toxins may be building. And here's the risk for seniors. Digestive systems slow down with age. The stomach takes longer to empty. Liver function declines. Toxins stay in your system longer, triggering inflammation that strains your cardiovascular system. A bout of cramping, bloating, or diarrhea may not sound serious, but for someone over 60, the fluid loss and blood pressure drop can destabilize the heart. That's when arrhythmias, clotting, or even strokes become real threats. So what's the smarter move? Only cook the amount of mushrooms you plan to eat right away. If you do have leftovers, refrigerate them within 30 minutes and eat them cold within 24 hours. Never reheat, because with mushrooms, the danger isn't what you see, it's what you can't. And at your age, that invisible threat is not worth the gamble. There's nothing more comforting than a warm-baked potato or a scoop of mashed potatoes. But if those potatoes sit out too long or get reheated the wrong way, they can do more harm than good. The hidden risk, a bacteria called Clostridium botulinum. It's naturally found in soil, and potatoes grow underground. When you cook a potato and wrap it in foil to keep it warm, you create the perfect low-oxygen environment for this bacteria to thrive. And if that foil-wrapped potato cools slowly, botulinum spores begin producing a neurotoxin, one of the most dangerous known to science. The worst part? Reheating doesn't kill this toxin. Once it's there, it stays, ready to impact your nervous system. Botulism starts with digestive symptoms, nausea, vomiting, maybe some dizziness, but it quickly progresses to blurred vision, muscle weakness, difficulty speaking or swallowing, and in severe cases, it paralyzes the muscles you need to breathe. For someone over 60, that's a terrifying situation. The immune system isn't fast enough to catch up. Heart rhythm can become irregular. Blood pressure may crash. And if you're on heart or blood pressure meds, the interaction could become deadly. So how do you stay safe? Never store cooked potatoes in foil. Always remove the foil immediately and let them cool quickly in open air before refrigerating. Better yet, only cook what you plan to eat. And if that potato's been sitting around for hours, don't reheat it. Don't even risk it. Potatoes are hardy, but your heart isn't built to handle botulism. Eggs are a breakfast staple, scrambled, boiled, or baked into casseroles. They're rich in protein, affordable, and easy to prepare. But once cooked, eggs become surprisingly delicate. You see, eggs have a high moisture and protein content. That makes them a prime target for bacterial growth, especially salmonella. When eggs are cooked and then left at room temperature for more than 2 hours, bacteria can multiply fast. Even if you refrigerate them later, the damage may already be done. And here's the kicker. Reheating doesn't always destroy the toxins those bacteria produce. For older adults, salmonella is more than just a rough stomach bug. It can cause a condition called infective endocarditis, an infection of the heart's inner lining. It can also lead to myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle. Both are serious, both are hard to detect early, and both can escalate quickly. Add to that the risk of severe dehydration from vomiting or diarrhea. In younger people, this is unpleasant. In seniors, it's a cardiovascular challenge. Your heart must work harder to keep blood pressure stable. If you're already managing heart disease or taking medications, this added strain could be dangerous. And there's something else to consider. The protein in eggs changes when reheated. It becomes tougher to digest, and for some, causes bloating, cramping, or discomfort. So what should you do? Cook eggs fresh and eat them immediately. If you're storing an egg-based dish, like quiche or frittata, cool it fast and eat it cold within 24 hours. Never leave eggs at room temperature. Never reheat twice. They may seem simple, but reheated eggs come with complex risks. And when your heart is already working hard, the last thing it needs is a battle over breakfast. Chicken is often praised as the healthier meat. It's lean, versatile, and packed with protein, perfect for heart-conscious diets. But when it comes to reheating, chicken becomes one of the most misunderstood risks in your kitchen. Here's why. Chicken's protein structure is complex. When it's cooked, then cooled, and then reheated, those proteins undergo major changes. They become harder to digest and create an environment that supports bacterial growth, especially Salmonella and E. coli. If the chicken wasn't cooled properly or sat at room temperature too long, bacteria can thrive. And reheating, even at high temperatures, won't always neutralize the toxins they've already produced. For older adults, this can spell serious trouble. Let's say you eat some reheated chicken that's just slightly off. You might feel a little nausea or fatigue at first, but if E. coli is involved, it can lead to hemolytic uremic syndrome, a condition that damages your kidneys and causes blood pressure to skyrocket. And if it's salmonella, it could trigger endocarditis, an infection of your heart valves. Both outcomes place enormous stress on your cardiovascular system, especially if you're already dealing with hypertension, arrhythmia, or heart disease. Food safety experts agree. Chicken should never be left at room temperature for long. Cool it within 1 hour of cooking. Store it in shallow containers. And if you must eat it later, consider eating it cold, in a salad. Reheating chicken may seem harmless, but for a heart that's aging, the risks are anything but. Sometimes skipping that second serving is the best decision for your health. Seafood is one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. Loaded with omega-3s, protein, and essential minerals, it's a heart-healthy powerhouse. But when it comes to leftovers, seafood flips the script. Fish and shellfish spoil faster than any other protein. That's because they contain a compound called histidine, which bacteria can convert into histamine when seafood isn't cooled properly. Once formed, histamine can't be destroyed by reheating, and that's where the danger lies. Histamine poisoning, sometimes called scombroid poisoning, can happen even when fish looks and smells fine. Symptoms include flushing, sweating, headache, rapid heartbeat, and in some cases, chest tightness or difficulty breathing. Now imagine that happening to someone over 60. A sudden drop in blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, or inflammation spike might seem like a mild allergic reaction, but it can escalate quickly, especially if you have pre-existing heart conditions. And there's more. Certain reef fish, like barracuda or grouper, can carry ciguatera toxin, a compound that isn't destroyed by cooking or reheating. This toxin can cause long-lasting neurological and cardiovascular symptoms. Even well-cooked seafood can turn risky if left to sit at unsafe temperatures for just a short time. So if you're not eating it right after cooking, the safest move is to discard it. Don't store it, don't reheat it, don't risk it. Because with seafood, the margin for error is razor thin, and your heart doesn't have time to recover from a maybe it's fine mistake. Fresh, immediate, and safely handled. That's the only way seafood belongs on your plate after 60. You might be wondering, why is this such a big deal only after 60? The truth is, aging changes everything. Your immune system doesn't fight as fiercely. Your digestive system processes food more slowly, and your liver and kidneys, your body's natural detox team, just can't clear toxins as fast as they used to. That means bacteria and their toxins stay in your system longer, causing more inflammation, more stress on your heart, and more risk of blood clots, arrhythmias, or dangerous drops in blood pressure. For someone younger, food poisoning might just mean a rough 24 hours. But for older adults, it can be the start of something much more serious, like a stroke, heart attack, or a hospital stay. And the worst part, most of these risks are silent until it's too late. That's why this isn't just about reheating food. It's about understanding how your body changes and making smart, preventative choices every day. Because when your heart's already working harder, even one small slip in the kitchen can carry a heavy cost. Now that you know the risks, what can you do to protect yourself without giving up the food you love? It all comes down to smart handling. Here are 5 essential rules every person over 60 should follow in the kitchen. 1. Follow the 2-hour rule. Never let cooked food sit out longer than 2 hours. If the room is over 90 degrees, that window shrinks to 1 hour. 2. Cool quickly. Divide leftovers into shallow containers. Refrigerate immediately to stop bacteria from multiplying. 3. Reheat once, only once. Every time you reheat, food goes back into the danger zone. Only reheat what you'll eat and don't put it back in the fridge. 4. Avoid reheating risky foods. For rice, spinach, mushrooms, eggs, potatoes, chicken, and seafood, when in doubt, toss it out, or enjoy it cold if stored properly. 5. Know the signs of trouble: nausea, dizziness, rapid heartbeat, or unusual fatigue after eating leftovers. could be early warning signs. You've spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now it's time to protect yourself with awareness and action. You don't need to fear your food, but you do need to respect what age has changed in your body. After 60, the smallest misstep, a forgotten foil-wrapped potato, a reheated bowl of rice, can become the start of something serious. But the good news, every one of these risks is preventable. If this video opened your eyes, type yes in the comments. Your one word could encourage someone else to protect their health too. And if you know a parent, grandparent, or friend over 60, share this with them. You might save more than just a meal. You might save a life. Hit the like button if you believe prevention is better than regret, and subscribe for more clear, honest health advice designed just for you. Because fresh isn't just about flavor, it's about your future, and your future matters.